Happy Halloween, everybody. Today I'm going to be ranking the entire Halloween franchise, and before I get into it, I just want to say this is my personal opinion. I'd love to hear your list down below in the comments. The whole point of this video is to spark a discussion amongst the Halloween fans. I want to talk about the Halloween movies with you guys, and I'd love to hear your favorites, your least favorites. So feel free, let's start a discussion down in the comments. So with that out of the way, my number 12, my least favorite Halloween film, H2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, the cool thing about this is my least favorite. But, it has been hated for a while, but all of a sudden, it has re-emerged into people's top 5, top 3 Halloween films, and it's crazy to me. Because I find this movie to be so bizarre, so wacky, so tacky, and so far out there, it doesn't even feel like a Halloween film to me, that I'm like, man, this is crazy. It makes me want to watch it with a new, set of eyes, So I want to see what other people are seeing, but personally, I watched this about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I just didn't like it. And it was only my second time watching it. It didn't get better the second time. It probably got worse to me. But I went into it with the mindset, let's watch a Halloween movie with Michael Myers in it. And it doesn't even feel like a Halloween movie to me. I hate how the mask is, half off of his face, You kind of see Michael looks like a hobo with a big beard, and he talks at the end. I'm not sure if it's like the director's cut or which version it is, but that's one I've seen. I'm like, oh man. Laurie is doing her thing. You got the White Horse. The one thing I can say that I do like about the movie is the hospital scene. Very cool, very brutal. But it's not for me. But I do want to watch it with a new pair of eyes because I want to see what other people are seeing in this movie. But as of now, it's my least favorite, on number 12. Number 11 for me is going to be, and this is a trend, Rob Zombie's Halloween from the year 2007. Okay, so I respect Rob Zombie for doing something completely different. A lot of people, a lot of directors go and remake movies, and they just don't take any kind of risk. And he really did. He completely did the opposite of the original. But for me, that's kind of a negative, I mean, I do respect it. If I do want something completely different from the original, I would definitely pop this in. But it doesn't mean that I like it. I want to see what people see in the movie because I know it does have its fans, and I do respect that. I do respect that Rob did something different, but for me, Michael doesn't have to be 7 foot tall. He doesn't have to have a complete backstory on why he does what he does, especially a pretty bland and generic one. But I do get why he did it. He wanted to do something completely different. But for me, it's just not my cup of tea. So number 11 is Rob Zombie's Halloween. My number 10, which should technically be, in last place, is Halloween Resurrection. Now, the Rob Zombie movies are probably well made, or more well made than this movie. But for me, I have a lot of fun because when I watch this movie, I laugh so hard because it did make Michael into a joke. Busta Rhymes, plays a character named Freddy, and he absolutely just verbally assaults Michael, and Michael just walks away. And then also later in the movie, he karate kicks him. Pretty sure he shocks him in the nuts. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's borderline parody, if not full-on parody. And, I find enjoyment out of it. And I think mainly why I do is because I had a friend who passed away a few years ago named Brandon Lee. And he loved this movie. He had a group, Halloween Resurrection Appreciation Group. And I joined it, And he had some valid points. It didn't make me think that this was a, top 5 or even mid-tier Halloween film. But it made me enjoy it a little bit more. So maybe that's why it's not my absolute least favorite. So Halloween Resurrection is number 10 for me. Okay, so number 9. Now this right here shocks me because the more I thought about this list, the more I'm like, man, I think this movie is going to be in this spot, unfortunately. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now, I do like this movie. If you tell me, well, how do you feel about this movie? Or you ask me, how do I feel about this movie? I'd tell you, depending on the day, oh, I really like it, or it's okay. And as of today, it's just one that I wouldn't really pop in because I reviewed it, in the Thorn Trilogy video. I noticed that a lot of this movie just doesn't, there's just nothing there. There's hardly any plot. And I loved it growing up, watching it with 4 and 5, back to back on AMC, or, if I rented it on VHS. But now, as I'm older, I really do see the flaws in this movie. But the thing that, kind of saves this for me, I can watch it. I think it is a good movie. Or, well, an okay movie. I wouldn't say good. Is Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis and Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. Those are the things that really save this movie for me. Michael doesn't look that good, but I do like Don Shanks. I do like his performance, but very questionable direction in this movie. I feel like they kind of went the complete opposite way that Halloween 4 was kind of going in, and I feel like it really started the downward spiral for the Halloween franchise at that point. So number 9 is Halloween 5. Okay, so the next two I do not own. Number 8 is going to be Halloween 2018. Now, and when I first watched this, I did not like it. Everybody said, "Oh, it's the best sequel to the Halloween franchise, even better than the original." I went to the theaters, I watched it. I just didn't like it. Hated the character of Dr. Sartain, I think was the name. But I did like James Jude Courtney as Myers. I love the score, and the kills are kind of simple. There's some brutal ones in there as well, but I love the scenes of Michael, stalking the neighborhood, just like roaming the streets. I really enjoy that. So I'm a little bit more open-minded to it now. It's a little bit higher than it would have been a few years ago, but it's kind of in the middle for me. I don't overly love it, but I don't hate it. It's kind of growing on me, but I don't know if it'll ever be in the top 5 for me personally. Number 7 would be Halloween Kills. I watched this, I think, 3 times, because I watched it with different people. Okay, so Halloween 2018 is kind of like that. Halloween Kills is woo, and then it goes really far down, and then right back up for me. It's very weird. It's not as consistent as 2018, but some of the stuff that, when it does shoot up, it is really cool because I love the gore, I love the kills. Michael is awesome. Again, James Jude Courtney does a great job. But then there's some really, really stupid stuff that I did not like in the movie. So it's a mixed bag for me, but it's enough craziness and enough wackiness for me to be like, okay, yeah, I would definitely watch it. It has flaws, but it's a fun movie in my opinion. So that is my number 7. So my number 6, and I debated with this one. A few years ago, this one was probably 3 or 4 on my ranking, or 3rd or 4th technically on my ranking. Halloween H2O. Now the reason I put this above Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, for me, I could see those overtaking this, but I really like the performance from Jamie Lee Curtis and the ending. You can end the franchise right there. The ending is so chilling in my opinion. I love the ending. Yes, it does kind of feel like a Scream, I won't say ripoff, but it does feel like it is a 90s movie, which I've never had too much of a problem with, because for me, it should feel like, the time period it's set in. But I do agree, like the score, I like the Halloween theme, but other than that, it does have that 90s feel and kind of feels like Scream. And some of the kills are a little tame, but I'm okay with most of that. But the mask, oh my god, the mask changes constantly, and that aggravates me. I'm not even really a big fan of this mask here. And this one right here is absolute garbage. So the mask situation totally throws me off. But I do think it's a pretty, mid-tier, pretty solid Halloween film. So that is my number 6. Okay, so moving on to my number 5. And that's going to be Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now, I really enjoyed this movie. I hated it as a kid, but it does have a great atmosphere. Really good score. The concept, I think, is really good. Kids dying in these crazy, dark ways, very brutal. And you got, Tom Atkins running around trying to figure out what's going on. You got freaking cyborgs assassinating people. I mean, it is a wild, wild film. I never thought it'd be in my top 5, but here it is, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. My number 4 is going to be Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Now, I started off with, the theatrical cut, really enjoying that. I knew it had some flaws, and I watched the producer's cut, and I really enjoy that. But it does have some flaws. But the thing about each version is it has something that the other one doesn't. I like that. Theatrical cut has some really gory kills if you're into that, which I do like gory kills, but I don't necessarily have to have it because I love how simple the kills are in the producer's cut. They're cool, but they're not over the top. The theatrical cut, you got the guitar, the 90s, guitar riff. I like that, but I also like the producer's cut score. Now, one thing that really bothers me with the producer's cut is the fact that, Michael impregnates Jamie. I don't know why they included that. Why on earth couldn't it have been Terrence Wynn? It still would have been Michael's bloodline, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm completely missing something there, but that should have been implemented over Michael, being the father. I don't necessarily want an explanation, behind Michael's, evilness, you know, his madness, but I'm okay with it being tied to the Halloween holiday, like the lore of Halloween and all that stuff. I like it, you know. Did we necessarily need an explanation? No. But I like it better than the Rob Zombie explanation. You know, he came from a bad home, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to dog on that movie too much, but I like what we got here. Tommy Doyle, Paul Rudd, I really like him in that role. And Dr. Loomis, I really like the performance by Donald Pleasence. I think he does a really good job with playing a very tired Loomis, you know, because in the movie he thinks that, you know, Michael and Jamie are dead. It's been four years, I think, maybe 6 years. It's been quite a while. And he's finally buried the ghost, you know, and all this stuff just starts happening again. I think he does a very good job, and it's his last performance in a Halloween film, and I really like it. So I talked a little bit more about this one than the other one, so I'm going to end it here. Number 4 is Halloween 6. My number 3, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, I love this movie. This movie feels like it's very fast-paced to me. Not to throw shade, but I'm pretty sure the YouTube channel, I think it might have been Looper, or some channel, ranked this as dead last and said it was a boring movie. I don't think that they watched Halloween 4. This movie is fucking awesome, man. You got Donald Pleasence running around as Dr. Loomis, just, God dang you, Michael. I mean, so much stuff. You got, you know, you son of a bitch, you just created a lynch mob. You don't have a police force. Like, Donald Pleasence is, like, awesome in this movie. Dr. Loomis might be my favorite performance from Donald Pleasence, my favorite performance, you know, of the character Dr. Loomis. Could be. Michael, I like him in this movie. George P. Wilbur does a good job. I didn't get to talk about him in Halloween 6, but he's one of my favorite Michaels. The look here is not the best, but I think it's passable. It's a lot better, in my opinion, than Halloween 5. And Michael's brutal in the movie. He really is. The kills are cool. You got Jamie, you get Rachel. Very good atmosphere. I just love Halloween 4. So it is my number 3. My number 2 is going to be Halloween 2, 1981. So you got the shirt here, got that today. Really love this. This sequel here, this movie, I love this movie. It feels like a direct continuation to the original. Yeah, you know, Dick Warlock is not Nick Castle. You know, there's a difference there. But I do like Dick Warlock. I love he's just brutal as Michael. It's like Michael is kind of pissed off after getting shot 6 times, and he just goes on a rampage in this movie. Yes, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't really do much in the movie, but, you know, she's been hospitalized on all kinds of, you know, medication, all that stuff, so I didn't really expect her to do a whole lot. You get the revelation that, you know, Michael and Laurie are related. I personally don't mind this. I like that they're related. I know a lot of people have a huge problem with it. I don't. I love the score. I love the kills. Love the atmosphere. I just really love this movie. Halloween 2 is definitely a solid sequel in my opinion, and it is my second favorite of the franchise. And that leaves us with number 1. Halloween, 1978. What can I say about this movie that has not been said? I mean, it's a classic. I know maybe some of the younger people in the audience may not enjoy this as much because it is a slow burn movie, but I think less is more in some regards, and I think that John Carpenter knew that. He built the suspense with this movie, has a very good atmosphere, and it has the best Michael, in my opinion. Michael looks phenomenal. That Shatner mask, I don't think you'll ever get, you know, to that point of being able to beat that look for Michael. It's so simple but effective. We've had some doozy looks, but we've had some good ones, but I don't think any of them has looked as good as the original Michael. Donald Pleasence is Dr. Loomis. I love his performance. Jamie Lee Curtis does a very good job. I just love the movie in general. It's definitely one that I throw on every Halloween, and it is my favorite of the entire franchise. That ending is still, to this day, one of my favorite endings. The boogeyman disappears. You hear him breathing throughout the remaining shots of the movie. I just love it, man. Absolute classic. So that is my ranking of the entire Halloween franchise. Tell me your opinion down below. What is your list? You know, do you agree with some of my list? Do you disagree? I'm completely down for a friendly discussion down in the comments. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.